but for now we are going to do 3-point perspective. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, you guessed it, 3-point perspective literally has 3 points. Okay, so we have, that'll be 1, 2, and then the third point is down below. You can't see it on the screen, but it's lower, so it'll be there at the bottom of the page. Okay, so 3-point perspective, remember how in 2-point in 1-point you had a vertical, you could start off with a square vertical line or a horizontal line, and then in 2-point you had just vertical lines. And now if we're drawing cubes in 3-point, every single line is vanishing somewhere. Okay, so no line is just like random, it has to be vanishing somewhere. So you'll notice how these cubes are sort of like tapering in like that, okay, and they're sort of tapering to that way. So that's the sort of theory behind 3-point. Where's this used? It in environment design or character design mostly. 3-point is used. 3-point perspective is used, and just like a little note, it's really helpful to understand this, because basically, like if I'm drawing a human, if I want to draw like a character from this view here, I would first block out the cube to show the perspective. Like here's the ground plane that they're standing on, and then I know where their head is, and I can sort of work out like where they're looking and what the angle is going to be. Okay, so that's kind of where it's helpful. Okay, so let's just check something. 10 by 7. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing as before, and see, we always start off with the horizon line. So even though it's 3-point perspective, there's still a horizon line, but in this example I want you guys to just turn your page so it's portrait. Okay, so at the top, it doesn't have to be exact, but more or less, like let's say like 6 centimeters from the top. Doesn't have to be exact. You can draw a line going through, okay, and then on each end here you can put a dot there, and I want you guys to put a dot in the middle of that line, okay, and rule a line all the way down to the bottom of the page. Okay, so all the way down to the bottom of the page. By the way, this, I mean, I know it sounds boring, but like this is actually how you set up a grid on your piece of paper if you're starting to design like an environment and you want to like pencil it out first. Even if you're thumbnailing, you know, knowing vaguely where your vanishing points are, this is how you would set it up so that it's believable, you know, so things don't look wonky. Okay, so then at the bottom of the page, you can go probably 5 centimeters up and make another dot, and we'll call that vanishing point at the top, and then vanishing point there at the top. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 vanishing points. Okay, so now we want to draw our field of view. So you can do a square that is 10 by 7 centimeters ish, 10 by 8, doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so I'm just going 4 centimeters down. The reason why does anyone, okay, I'll just tell you guys. The reason why I'm drawing the field of view here is so that I don't get violent or warped perspective on these 2 points on the side. So remember, if the field of view was too, you know, like if these were too close, then the angle starts to warp. Okay. Okay, so that's my field of view there. Okay, so the next thing I want you guys to do is just draw rays going through the field of view. So remember how last time we drew the rays and they were going through you know, from the first point and second point, but now the rays also need to come from the third point. Okay, so I'm drawing my rays like that, and I'm going to go down to the bottom, and draw my rays going from that third point going up like this. Okay. There we go. And then I want to draw some rays going there. So this, what you're doing now, make sure you press light, but what you're doing now is just setting up a grid so that you can understand where everything is. Okay. There we go. Cool. So now that you've got this, I mean, it looks quite cool. Now you can start, so in 2-point perspective, we started with a line. In 1 point, we started with a square. So in 3-point, we're going to start off with a dot. Okay, so let's start off putting our dot here. Okay, and it always needs to be going towards a vanishing point at any given time. Okay, so I can start off with a dot, and I'm going towards the vanishing point. And I remember, you always want to vanish each point. So I've already vanished these lines, so I'm going along those lines. Okay, and then I can join this line here. Okay, and I can bring that up, and you'll notice how the cube is slanting slightly. That's because there's another vanishing point here at the bottom. Okay, so now remember, wherever a point is, you want to vanish it to the opposite, to the side that it's going. Okay, so I can determine how, like how thick I want this cube to be, and then once I've decided that, you can always re-vanish or vanish through a point. Okay, so whenever you're in doubt, vanish. It's like life. No, I'm joking, that's bad life advice. Okay.
That's so cheesy, man.
Yeah, okay, so all the dad jokes, eh? So I would encourage you guys to just draw like a whole bunch of, like I said, cubes all over the place, so that you can see kind of how it's working, and really like start to understand it. Okay. And just make sure no line is just randomly being put there, that it's, like it's going to a vanishing point, and then we can join the lines. Okay, and you'll notice, like let's say I start with a dot over here, and I want to vanish it down to the bottom. So let's go there. You'll notice like it starts getting a little bit weird, like when you get close to the vanishing point, or when you get closely in line with the vanishing point. So that's vanishing. There we go. Okay.